There is a number that every doctor who treats emergencies knows: 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That is how long your brain can survive without oxygen before it starts dying. Not slowing down, not struggling, dying. Cells go dark, functions switch off, and the damage left behind is permanent. Now here is the part most people never hear. When a senior has a stroke or a heart attack in this country, the average time before someone calls 911 is not 4 minutes. It is not 40 minutes. Studies show the average delay before a senior calls for emergency help is 3 to 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours. That is not a statistic. That is a death sentence written slowly, in silence, while someone sits on their couch trying to decide if what they are feeling is serious enough. I have been in emergency medicine long enough to know that it is almost never the heart attack itself that kills the patient. It is the wait before someone picks up the phone. And the heartbreaking truth is, most seniors never learn that they are the ones doing it. They do not know they are waiting. They think they are being sensible. They think they are not overreacting. They think they are doing the right thing. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what that delay looks like, why it happens, what it costs, and what you can do, starting today, to make sure it never happens to you or someone you love. Stay with me, because what I am about to walk you through may be the most important thing you watch this year. I want to tell you about a woman I will call Michelle. Michelle was 73 years old, retired school principal, sharp, organized, independent. She lived alone in the house she had shared with her husband for 38 years before he passed. Her daughter called her every morning at 9. Her neighbor checked in on Tuesdays. On a Wednesday in February, Michelle woke up at 6 in the morning and felt something strange. A heaviness in her chest. Not sharp, not like the movies. Not clutching, not collapsing. Just a dull, pressing weight, like someone had set a book on her sternum while she slept. Her left arm felt thick, a little numb. She sat up and the room tilted, not spinning, just slightly off, the way things look when you stand up too fast. She sat on the edge of the bed for a moment, and then she did exactly what most seniors do. She waited. She thought, I probably slept on my arm wrong. She thought, I ate too much at dinner last night. She thought, I do not want to wake my daughter at this hour. I do not want to call an ambulance and have it turn out to be nothing. What if it is nothing? I will feel foolish. I will be a burden. I will see how I feel after breakfast. So she made tea. She sat at her kitchen table. The heaviness did not go away. But it did not get worse either. So she decided that must mean it was nothing serious. At 9 o'clock, her daughter called. Michelle mentioned, almost as an aside, that she had felt a little off since morning. Her daughter told her to call the doctor. Michelle agreed. She called the doctor's office at 9:30. She was put on hold. She left a message. She waited for a callback. The callback came at 11. The nurse told her to come in at 2 o'clock. She arrived at 2. The doctor ran an EKG. Within 90 seconds, he said, Michelle, I am calling 911 right now. She had been having a heart attack since 6 that morning. 8 hours. 8 hours between the first symptom and the ambulance. The cardiologist at the hospital told her daughter, if she had come in within 90 minutes, we could have opened that artery and her heart would likely be completely normal today. At 8 hours, the muscle damage is done. It cannot be reversed. Michelle survived, but half of the left side of her heart is now scar tissue. She cannot climb her own stairs without stopping to rest. She no longer drives. She no longer lives alone. She did not wait because she was reckless. She waited because nobody ever told her what waiting really costs. I am Dr. Daniel Hayes, and I want to talk to you plainly today, as if you were sitting right here across from me. Because what happened to Michelle is not rare. It is the norm. Research published in major cardiology journals tells us that seniors wait dramatically longer than younger adults before calling 911 during a heart attack or stroke. And that gap has not improved meaningfully in over a decade, despite better awareness campaigns, better technology, better hospitals. The delay is still happening, and it is still killing people. So why does it keep happening? There are 5 specific reasons, and I want to go through each one carefully because understanding why is the first step to stopping it. Reason 1. The symptoms do not look like what you expect. Ask most people what a heart attack looks like. They will describe a man grabbing his chest dramatically and falling to the floor. That image is real, but it represents only a fraction of how heart attacks actually appear, especially in seniors and women. For many older adults, the symptoms are quiet: unusual fatigue, a vague pressure, mild shortness of breath, nausea, sometimes just jaw discomfort or a strange sensation down one arm. Sometimes it feels like indigestion that does not pass. Because these symptoms do not match the movie version, people dismiss them. They wait for the real symptoms to start. For some people, the dramatic moment never comes. They just slowly deteriorate, and all the while the clock is running. Reason 2. Not recognizing stroke symptoms at all. One study found that when elderly adults were presented with actual stroke symptoms and asked what they would do, only 14% correctly said they would call 911. 14%. The rest said they would wait, call a family member, call their regular doctor, or see how it goes. A stroke happens when blood flow to the brain is cut off. Every minute of delay destroys approximately 2 million brain cells. There is a treatment. It is called a clot-busting drug, but it has a window. That window is generally 3 hours from when symptoms start for the best outcomes, and up to 4.5 hours in some cases. After that, the treatment itself becomes too dangerous to give. If you spend 4 hours deciding whether to call your doctor, that window is gone before the ambulance even arrives. Reason 3. Not wanting to be a burden or look foolish. This one is the hardest to talk about, but it is one of the most common. Seniors, especially those who have spent a lifetime being self-sufficient, not making a fuss, not complaining, are deeply reluctant to cause a scene. They worry they are overreacting. They worry their family will panic unnecessarily. They worry an ambulance ride will be expensive. They worry they will arrive at the hospital and be sent home with "just anxiety" written in their chart. And so they wait, they manage, they cope, they minimize, right up until they cannot anymore. Reason 4. Calling the family doctor first. Studies show that patients who call their primary care doctor's office instead of 911 when stroke or heart attack symptoms start experience dramatic, sometimes fatal delays. Researchers found that patients who called a doctor's office first waited a median of nearly 7 hours before an ambulance was called, versus 44 minutes for those who called 911 directly. 7 hours versus 44 minutes. Same symptoms, different first phone call. The problem is not the doctor. The problem is the system. A family doctor's office is not built for emergencies. They are on hold. They have other patients. They leave messages. They book appointments. By the time the callback comes, the treatment window has slammed shut. Reason 5. Living alone with no one to notice. Roughly 1 in 3 seniors in North America lives alone. When something happens at 2 in the morning, or in the shower, or in the middle of the night, there is no one to see it. No one to say, "You do not look right, I am calling." No one to act when the person cannot act for themselves. For many of the worst outcomes, the ones that end in nursing homes, in wheelchairs, in memory care, the tragedy did not begin with the stroke or the heart attack. It began with the hours of silence before anyone knew something had gone wrong. I want to paint this clearly because I think numbers without context do not land. When the heart is blocked during a heart attack, every minute without treatment destroys more muscle. The medical community has a phrase for this: time is muscle. The longer the heart goes without blood flow, the more of it dies, and heart muscle does not regenerate. What is gone is gone. After about 90 minutes, the damage is significant. After 3 hours, it is severe. After 6 hours, a meaningful portion of the affected heart muscle may be permanently dead, and with it goes the heart's ability to pump efficiently, sometimes forever. For a stroke, the equation is even more brutal. The brain is the most demanding organ in your body. It requires a constant, uninterrupted supply of blood to survive. When a blood vessel in the brain is blocked, which is what happens in a stroke, the cells in the surrounding area begin dying within minutes. What does that mean practically? It means every 60 seconds of delay can translate to lost memory, lost speech, lost movement, lost independence. Researchers estimate that for every minute a stroke goes untreated, the brain ages roughly 3.5 years in terms of cell loss. 3.5 years of brain aging per minute. And yet the average senior waits 3 to 4 hours. That is not an abstraction. That is the difference between walking out of the hospital and needing a wheelchair, between speaking clearly and struggling to find words, between going home and going into a facility. I want to stay on this point because I see it derail seniors' outcomes over and over again, and it comes from a place of genuine good intention. When seniors feel something wrong, their first instinct is often to call the person they trust, their doctor. That feels responsible. That feels like the right thing to do. But here's the reality of what happens when you call a doctor's office during a cardiac or neurological emergency. Your call enters a phone queue. You leave a message with a receptionist who is not medically trained to triage a potential heart attack. The message goes to a nurse. The nurse calls back, maybe in 2 hours, maybe in 4. By the time the callback comes, the person either says they feel a little better now, which can actually be a sign the artery has temporarily reopened, which is a medical emergency called unstable angina, or the symptoms have gotten dramatically worse. In either case, the 3-hour treatment window for a stroke is gone. The golden 90-minute window for optimal heart attack treatment is gone. Your doctor is extraordinary at managing your long-term health. A doctor's office phone line is not equipped to save your life during the 90 seconds that matter most. 911 is. And here is what 911 provides that a doctor's callback does not. The paramedics who walk through your door are carrying a portable EKG machine, a defibrillator, clot-dissolving medications, oxygen, IV lines, and communication with the hospital that will receive you. The hospital is alerted before you arrive. A team is assembled. Time is not wasted. In many hospital systems today, the clock that determines whether you qualify for the best stroke treatment starts the moment you call 911, not the moment you walk into the emergency room. The paramedics begin the process. The hospital prepares. Every minute that passes before that call is a minute the treatment clock is already running down. If you live alone, or if someone you love lives alone, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because this section is for you specifically. There is a scenario that happens thousands of times every year in this country. A senior wakes up in the middle of the night. Something feels wrong. Their speech is slurring. Their arm is weak. They are confused. They try to get up and fall. They cannot reach the phone. They lie on the floor. And nobody knows. Nobody calls in the morning because this person is self-sufficient and does not need daily check-ins. Nobody comes by because this person values their privacy and their independence, which is entirely reasonable and admirable. When the neighbor finally checks, because they have not seen them at the mailbox in 2 days, 48 hours have passed. This is not a rare story. This happens regularly. The solution is not to give up independence. The solution is to build a quiet, invisible safety net, one that works even when you cannot call for help yourself. This is where I want to tell you about something that has genuinely changed the outcome for many of my patients and their families: a personal medical alert device with automatic fall detection. These devices, worn as a pendant, a wristband, or a smartwatch, do two things that are critical. First, they give you a button to press that instantly connects you to a live emergency operator, anytime, day or night. Not a voicemail, not a callback queue, a live person whose only job in that moment is to help you. Second, the ones with automatic fall detection do not need you to press anything. If you fall and lose consciousness, the sensor detects the impact and the sudden lack of movement and initiates an alert on your behalf. If you have a stroke and collapse in the bathroom at 2 in the morning, the device calls for help before you even know you need it. Devices like the Medical Guardian MG Move smartwatch or the Bay Alarm Medical SOS smartwatch, both of which are available on Amazon, combine fall detection with GPS tracking so that responders can find you even if you cannot speak. They work inside the home and outside it. They are waterproof. They connect to a 24-hour monitoring center. I'm not suggesting this as a replacement for 911. I am suggesting it as the thing that ensures 911 gets called when you cannot call it yourself. For seniors who live alone, this is not an optional convenience. It is a safety net that can be the difference between a treatable emergency and a catastrophic one. If you are watching this and your parent or spouse lives alone, this is the conversation to have. Not tomorrow, today. Most people have heard of FAST: face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, time to call 911. It is a good tool. It saves lives. But research shows that it misses a significant number of strokes, particularly the kind that originate in the back of the brain, which controls balance, vision, and coordination. Those strokes, called posterior strokes, do not cause the classic FAST symptoms in many cases. What they cause instead is sudden dizziness that does not go away when you sit down, double vision, loss of balance so severe you cannot walk in a straight line, sudden severe headache unlike any you have had before, sudden loss of vision in one or both eyes. These symptoms look like something a senior might wave off as just dizziness, or I need new glasses, or I got up too fast. They are not. They are a medical emergency. An expanded tool, called BE-FAST, adds 2 more letters to the front. B for sudden loss of balance, and E for sudden vision changes affecting the eyes. Balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, time. If any one of these appears suddenly, and especially if more than one appears at the same time, the answer is not to wait. The answer is not to call your doctor. The answer is not to drink a glass of water and lie down. The answer is to call 911 immediately. Sudden is the word that matters most here. Not gradual, not I have been dizzy all week. Sudden. Symptoms that appear out of nowhere without a clear explanation. Write BE-FAST down. Put it on your refrigerator. Review it with your family. Let me do the same for heart attacks because the classic chest-clutching version is only part of the picture. For older adults, and particularly for women over 65, heart attacks frequently present in ways that feel nothing like an emergency. Here are the symptoms that get missed most often. Unusual fatigue, not normal tiredness. An overwhelming, sudden exhaustion that comes on without exertion. The kind where you sit down mid-afternoon and cannot imagine standing back up. This can be the only symptom a heart attack produces in some women. Indigestion that does not respond to antacids. The heart and the stomach share nearby nerve pathways. When heart muscle is in distress, the pain can feel like it is coming from the stomach. Many people take antacids for hours during a heart attack, believing it is something they ate. Shortness of breath without chest pain. Breathing becomes harder, not dramatically, not gasping, just noticeably labored, especially lying flat. Some people say it feels like a mild asthma episode. Jaw, neck, or back pain. The pain from a blocked coronary artery can radiate upward into the jaw, down into the left arm, or across the upper back and between the shoulder blades. In isolation, these feel like a pulled muscle or tooth pain, a vague sense that something is wrong. This one sounds imprecise, but physicians take it seriously. Many patients who survive a heart attack describe feeling, for hours beforehand, a sense of doom or unease they could not explain. Their body was trying to tell them something. They talked themselves out of listening. If you experience any combination of these, particularly if they are new and you have risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, or a family history of heart disease, call 911. Do not wait for the chest pain. Do not wait to be sure. One thing I hear from seniors who hesitate is, I would feel so embarrassed calling 911 and having it be nothing. I want to address this directly. Paramedics and emergency medicine physicians are not bothered by calls that turn out to be non-emergencies. They would rather come to you 10 times for something minor than not come once for something major. There is no such thing as wasting their time when your life might be on the line. And here's what most people do not know. When paramedics arrive, they run a 12-lead EKG within the first few minutes. In many cases, that EKG alone tells them whether your heart is in trouble, before you have even left your driveway. If it is nothing, they check you over and leave. If it is something, you are already in the hands of people who can help. So when you call 911, here is exactly what to say. Say your name and your address first, clearly. Then say, I am having chest pain and shortness of breath, or whatever your symptoms are. Describe them plainly. Then stay on the line. The dispatcher will tell you exactly what to do. Unlock your front door if you can, so paramedics can enter. Sit or lie down in a safe position. Do not eat or drink anything while you wait. If you take aspirin and you are not allergic to it, and you have not been told not to take it, one regular aspirin, chewed, can help during a heart attack while you wait for the ambulance. But call 911 first. Do not let finding an aspirin delay the call. Let me talk about something that does not get enough attention in conversations like this. Setting up your home environment to maximize your chances if something happens. Most emergencies in seniors do not happen in public. They happen at home, often alone, often at night. Know your address cold. This sounds elementary, but in moments of panic or confusion, which are themselves symptoms of stroke, people forget their address. Write it on a piece of paper and tape it near your phone, near the front door, and near your bed. Keep your phone accessible at all times. Not on the kitchen counter when you are in the bedroom. Not in your purse across the room when you are on the couch. On or next to you. Strokes and heart attacks do not give you time to go retrieve your phone. Tell someone your daily routine. If you live alone, have a simple agreement with a neighbor, a friend, or a family member. If I do not respond to your check-in by a certain time each morning, something is wrong. This creates a human safety net that requires no technology. Consider a blood pressure monitor for home use. A sudden spike in blood pressure, particularly one accompanied by a headache, vision changes, or confusion, is a medical emergency. Home blood pressure monitors are inexpensive and available on Amazon. Devices like the Omron Platinum Blood Pressure Monitor allow you to track your readings over time and spot dangerous trends before they become crises. Some even sync to a smartphone app that can share readings with family members or your doctor. Knowing your typical blood pressure baseline is powerful. When a number appears that is dramatically higher than your normal, say 180/110 or above, that is not something to monitor at home. That is a prompt to call 911 or go directly to the emergency room. Set up a simple emergency contact card. A laminated card kept in your wallet and posted on your refrigerator with your name, date of birth, medications, allergies, emergency contacts, and your doctor's name. If paramedics arrive and you are unable to speak, this card tells them everything they need to make fast, accurate decisions. It could save your life in the first 5 minutes. There is a conversation that most families never have. And the absence of that conversation is one of the reasons seniors die alone on the kitchen floor while their family is 20 minutes away. The conversation is simple. It takes 15 minutes, and it could be the most important 15 minutes you spend this month. Sit down with the people who love you, your children, your spouse, your closest neighbor, and go through these things together. What are your symptoms to watch for? Based on your specific health history and risk factors, what should prompt an immediate 911 call? Write it down. Share it with everyone. Who calls 911? If 2 family members are present and something happens, decide now who makes the call. Bystander inaction, where everyone assumes someone else is acting, is a real and documented phenomenon. Assign the role before you need it. Where are your medications? Paramedics need to know what you are taking. Keep a current medication list on your refrigerator. This is an industry-standard practice that emergency responders are trained to look for. Does your home have any access challenges? Is the front door always locked? Is there a code? Is there a dog? These are not trivial questions when someone is trying to enter your home in an emergency. Have you considered a medical alert device? If the answer is no, ask yourself honestly, what is my plan if I fall and cannot reach my phone? These conversations are not morbid. They are an act of love. They are what people who care about each other do before they need to. I want to be straightforward with you about why I mention specific products. These are things I genuinely believe fill real gaps in safety for seniors, gaps that no amount of awareness alone can close. For seniors who live alone or have a fall risk, a medical alert wearable with automatic fall detection is the most important safety tool you can own. I recommend looking at options like the Medical Guardian MG Move smartwatch or the Bay Alarm Medical SOS smartwatch on Amazon. These connect you to a live monitoring center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They detect falls automatically. They have GPS, so help can find you anywhere. You do not need to remember to press a button. For monitoring blood pressure at home, the Omron Platinum Blood Pressure Monitor or the Omron Complete Blood Pressure Monitor, both available on Amazon, are trusted, clinically validated devices. The ability to track your blood pressure at home at the same times each day gives you real data that your doctor can use. More importantly, it gives you early warning before something becomes critical. For organizing medications and health information, a simple waterproof medical ID bracelet, available on Amazon, can communicate critical health information to paramedics when you cannot speak. Medical ID bracelets have directly influenced emergency treatment decisions countless times. If you have heart disease, diabetes, a blood thinner prescription, or any significant medical history, wearing a medical ID is not optional. It is a basic, inexpensive safety measure that costs less than a dinner out. For peace of mind for family members, smart home sensors, like those from companies available on Amazon, can detect whether doors have been opened, whether motion is present in key rooms, or whether a senior's daily routine has been disrupted. For an adult child who lives an hour away and worries about their parent, these sensors provide a quiet, non-intrusive layer of reassurance. If your parent does not get up in the morning, you will know before noon, not 2 days later. I want to go back to Michelle. Michelle spent 3 weeks in the cardiac rehabilitation unit. She learned, in those 3 weeks, that the damage to her heart could have been largely prevented. Not the disease. She had coronary artery disease that had been quietly developing for years. But the damage from the heart attack itself, the scarring, the loss of function, the permanent limitation, that was a product of the delay. Her cardiologist told her family, the disease was coming regardless. What we could have changed was the outcome. With 90-minute intervention, she likely keeps 90% of her heart function. At 8 hours, she keeps about 60%. Michelle told me later, and this is something I will never forget. She said, I kept thinking, I do not want to be a bother, and now I need help getting dressed. She was not angry. She was just sad about the logic that had felt so reasonable in the moment and cost so much in the end. You are not a bother. You are not overreacting. You are not being dramatic. You are a human being whose brain is worth 3.5 years per minute, whose heart muscle, once gone, does not come back, whose independence, which you have earned and protected your whole life, depends on the decisions you make in the first few minutes of an emergency. The delay does not come from carelessness. It comes from not knowing, from not having this conversation before it was needed, from a lifetime of not making a fuss being applied to the one situation where making a fuss is the only thing that works. The ambulance cannot save what it arrives too late to find. Call fast, call first. You are worth it. Before you leave this video, I want to give you 5 concrete things to do. Not someday, not when you get around to it, today, this week. 1. Write down Be Fast and put it on your refrigerator. Balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, time. Any one of these appearing suddenly is a reason to call 911. 2. Create or update your emergency information card. Your name, address, date of birth, current medications, allergies, emergency contacts, and doctor's name. Keep one in your wallet. Tape one to your refrigerator. 3. Have the 15-minute family conversation. Who calls 911? Where medications are? How to access your home? What symptoms to watch for in you specifically? 4. If you live alone, seriously evaluate a medical alert device, not as a sign of weakness, as the infrastructure that allows you to remain independent with a safety net underneath you. 5. Know your blood pressure baseline. Get a home monitor. Track it. Know what is normal for you. Know the number that means call 911 now. These are not complicated steps. They do not require a medical degree or a significant investment of time. But together, they close the gaps that cost Michelle her mornings in the greenhouse, her ability to climb her own stairs, her independence. Gaps that were never about medicine at all. They were about information. And now you have it.